Cool. Thanks for giving me some time. I know that you have a busy schedule, and
Oh yeah, it's been super busy. Considering trying to start another podcast with my comedian Jeremiah Watkins, so there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we're doing. It's crazy, but dude, I wanted to do. I don't normally do like music oriented podcasts. I usually do like for a comedian or this or that. But that's
right.
why I really wanted to do. That's why I hollered back at you because I'm like, it's not every day where I talk about music at all, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I know that I've branched out. I mean, I've had Jeremiah, you mentioned, on the show. I mean, he's a buddy,
Yeah.
and
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I used to hang around a lot at the store with Kill Tony show, so I would just hang out with him and Joel and Tony,
Yeah.
and I'd be there only on Mondays. That was my night to go to the store. So
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember those days, the potluck days. Yeah.
potluck. Yeah, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it's not like every day where I do music podcasts, and I wanted to do it because I still put out music. Like I have a band camp, and
Yeah, well, you just put out "I Feel Stir Crazy" not too long ago, right?
yeah. And I got that idea just because I was bored during quarantine and COVID, and I was watching a lot of Netflix and oh shit, sorry
Ooh,
about my camera. Let me fix that.
it's okay.
Dude, this is not good. Damn, dude, this is the wrong time for this to happen.
Perfect timing.
How's
Don't worry
that?
about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was god dang, and I just hit my computer again. So I was just watching stuff on the internet, like I was watching movies, and then I'm a huge Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor fan, and but that's one particular movie that's like one of the funniest movies ever made, and
Yeah.
I just thought and I watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as well.
Cool.
But I'm like, oh, this would be like kind of like I didn't know what the idea was. I knew I wanted to do something, and so I'm like, I'll just take snippets of this and make it a whole little concept album, but then kind of pull ideas through the samples, throughout the movie, which I did, and I like the way it ended. It turned out actually.
Yeah, no, the album's great, man. And
Oh, so you've checked it out?
yeah, I checked it out.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. The
Yeah,
album's
yeah, yeah.
great. You got this incredible artwork from world famous David Choe. So that's huge. I mean, I assume you guys are friends or you know him from.
Oh yeah, that's like a brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad you brought that up because it's not like every day where he does art for anyone on
Right.
top of album artwork. I think the last one he's ever done was Linkin Park Jay-Z or some shit like that.
Yeah, I
And
think that was the
so
last one. Yeah.
and so when he kind of showed that and showed me love in that way, I'm like, oh, I got to put this out. I mean,
For sure. I mean, are you planning like a big vinyl release, like put it on vinyl?
I haven't done anything physical yet. I mean, I was thinking about. I thanks for reminding me. I got to holler at my man, Koreatown Oddity. He's got this thing where it's a cassette tape distribution or whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to holler at him. I do. I do it mostly. I'm a very avid kind of fan of Bandcamp. Like, I'm still paranoid about being on Spotify and all these other platforms because
Sure.
to be honest with you, man, like they're not really straight up with their like
They're
numbers
not.
and shit.
They're
You know
not
what I mean?
paying anybody anything.
Nah, dude,
Yeah.
at all. But at least through Bandcamp, they take a small percentage, but it goes right to your PayPal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
So,
they had a lot of like Bandcamp Fridays during the quarantine where they were giving all of the money to the artists instead of taking the fee, just to kind of
Right.
help out during the quarantine.
See, that's another cool thing that those cats do.
Yeah.
Which I commend them. That's awesome. But I think what people don't realize about me is like, I do your standard kind of like underground golden era kind of like Beastie Boys type, Far Side type, rap stuff. But like my influence, like the stuff I really listen to is not even that that at all.
What are you listening to?
Well, like my all-time favorite album is one of my favorite. I have so many, but Modest Mouse, Lonesome, Crowded West.
Okay.
I mean, personally, I think it just fits my aesthetic of what I like. I mean, it has that kind of that rock and roll, kind of like cowboy-esque, Americana, like old Western rock type feel.
Yeah.
The Pixies too, maybe like the Pixies Doolittle or Surfer Rosa. I really like. I like Pinback's first album. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, my brother is, people don't know this, but my brother is really like knowledgeable about like music, not hip hop per se, but like all the other shit. Like I remember as a kid, like kind of sneaking into his room and like looking at his vinyl collection. Like he had Black Flag, The Cure, Bob Marley, Toy Dolls, just Echo and the Bunnymen's another one.
Nice.
I grew up with one particular album, Songs to Learn and Sing, with the silhouettes of them.
Yeah.
I just remember like seeing that album cover, and then, but dude, that's a great album. Like, I like that. But I'm into like all types of different like. I like Beck, I like harder stuff, like Black Flag shit, like just everything. Even the homie, Dead Kennedys, because I had DH on here, which was, that's a homie.
Yeah.
And so, just it's just like the whole all around gambit of just music, No, I remember go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you could tell. I mean, the way I discovered you was through your show. My buddy Josh Barnett was on there. And like
he put me in a chokehold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
very strong man.
Yeah, that's my homie, and he told me, he's like, oh, I'm gonna be on this show. I check it out, and I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know about this show, and I really loved how you start the show with you're playing on the piano.
Oh yeah. I thought it was, I grew up with like, Pee-wee's Big Adventure and like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and all that. I wanted to kind of get like that type of aesthetic, where it's just I come and say something weird, I go right to the piano and I play for like 10 seconds, and then I bring out I announce the guest. And also that I haven't done it in a while, but I've done a puppet show called Little Ray's World.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like right here. That's the homie Lil Ray. He's actually on
the album, right?
He's on the album, and then he's not only on the album, he's on my latest music video, Oh Rodeo Man, on my YouTube. You can check that out.
Nice.
He has the second verse, but he's been a thorn in my side.
I can see, and that you've commemorated him in your forever on your skin now.
Well, we're in a way
he's never going away.
He is like a brother. It's hard to communicate with him. Most of the time, he put it this way: he has a very strong personality.
Right.
He's very opinionated, and he's not that mindful as well. So, I've. It's one of those things where it's like that brother you never got along with, but you still have you guys are still brothers.
Right. Yeah. I got that.
We have that type of relationship. Yeah. But
it's great. It's great.
So I thought that, I mean, it just at the time, especially now, it was people don't realize, like, you probably understand, like, what it really takes. Like, they just see the final product, like the content, right? But like, as far as the puppet show, it's like, I used to do a new background like every week. Like, I would like take a Sharpie, then I'd take a color pencil, and then I would, and then I had to create a new character. Not only that, I'd have to write like a new song every week. And then it turned out every other week, and then now I'm just postponing that. I mean, I'm just because I'm super, like, super busy right now because of this Scissor Bros podcast that I'm doing with Jeremiah.
Yep, I've already caught the first 2 episodes. I'm in. I'm all the way in.
So what do you think? Did you like it?
I like it, man. I like it because you guys have really good energy together. I think that also Jeremiah is a genius, and so are you.
Oh yeah.
So 2 really creative minds with the same kind of like vibe. You're both nice, silly. Having a good time, and everybody watched it and saw the April Fool's, the first episode, which was supposed to be kind of like a play on your brother's podcast, and I was like,
yeah, we got
you got yelled at.
Yeah, well, not so much. Surprisingly, my brother wasn't upset. It was mostly Santino was a little upset because of, rightfully so, because the branding for branding reasons, and we basically took their art and their thumbnail, everything, just for that first episode. We use the same. Put it this way: we use the same like graphics person or like
the artist, right? He created
the artist,
you guys.
Yeah, from I think Canada or whatever. And she made like a duplicate of of Bad Friends, it was just all for fun play. It was fun natured.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and this is why, like, I back what you're saying about Jeremiah. He really thought a great deal about this, because like, if you know, we always had that card, like, oh, April Fools, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So in a way, yeah, it was, but he didn't take it that way. He was a little upset. But
I thought you were. I thought they were in on it. Yeah.
We patched it up. No. They were not in on it. That was the brilliance of the marketing behind what Jeremiah was doing.
It's great timing too, because that was that same
because of Bert and Tom's.
Right. Yeah. They did the switch, and it was like a whole day's worth of craziness, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I got, you know, those are our big brothers. You know, that, I mean, even though I'm older than Santino, as far as like being the little brother pot, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not trying to buy it at all. Like, and that's another thing about the Scissor Bros, man, that we're doing like skits and music, and
the music the music part's excellent. You're also doing like really
challenges,
really gross stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how long we could keep that up. We're doing that just to get eyes and ears on it.
Sure,
you know?
yeah. No, and look, I'm all about it. I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want to see how far it goes. You know?
I mean, if let's take that pathway. If that's the case, then we're just gonna end up being naked, like just sitting there, like scratching our nuts or something. You know what I mean?
G.G. Allen punk style, just throwing
it
poop
would
at the
definitely
camera.
it would be G.G. Allen-esque for sure, with poo and
everywhere.
your butt. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I love you know, that's another part of it that you mentioned that I think works really well is the musician aspect of it, because you're a musician, and like you know, to bring it back to what I said, like when I first found your show.
I appreciate that. Yeah, have fun with it, man. You know, I really don't know, like I don't know, like per se, like legit piano chords. I just kind of improvise, and I play kind of the same. I just work around certain.
You stay in key. That's what matters.
I stay in key. Yeah, but then I just, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so I do it in that sense.
Is that like learned? Did you go to school for music?
No. You know, like every Asian kid in America or just in the world, like you know, if you have a tiger parents, they're going to force piano lessons on you, whether you like it or not.
That's true.
But this is the thing about me, like personally, like. I did that because that's what every kid does, or son and daughter. But, you know, when you're forced to do something, you're not like really invested. You're not, you know, you're just like, mom, all right, when's he coming? And then you just kind of do the lesson. It's not till later when I kind of got into music a little bit later. I was in it like, well, that's not true, because I loved all the new wave and 80s shit, you know?
Okay.
But, you know, like as far as like trying to like
make it. Make the
music.
Or
write music, you know, that came a little bit later, at least like mid to later 90s type thing.
So like
that's why like my sound, like a lot of people, because I read certain comments and they're like, oh, you need to record more professionally, man. Like, you know, like my shit's like, because you know I love Daniel Johnston as well, rest in peace.
Yeah.
The thing about Daniel, which I love, and which is so endearing, is, man, that cat had 2 tape recorders and like a shitty organ, you know, and he recorded like several albums, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like my aesthetic is like, well, you know, I'm like, I like learned on like a tape 4-track type deal.
Sure. Yeah.
Where, okay, I'll just put the music on track 1, vocals on track 2, and then 3 for overdub. You know what I mean? Like it was on that tip. And so with like, I stay true to that still to this day. Like, put it this way, on the Stir Crazy album, I didn't use a mic.
Okay, so
there was no mic on it. I just sang and rapped into the laptop.
Okay, hey, that's a microphone, and they're getting better every day.
in a GarageBand.
Yeah, no, and with effects and stuff, because you have a little bit of an effect on it too, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fucking with that because I love like amp effects and like, you know, like that you know what, and this is going back to the Beastie Boys.
Okay.
Because if you listen to the Beastie Boys on like Check Your Head, they did a lot of that on So What You Want and all these other songs that you know, that amp kind of distortion.
Yeah. Lo-fi amp kind of,
Yeah, lo-fi amp. I know other artists I look up to have done that. Oh, Del the Funky Homo Sapiens done that in the past, and like his older recordings as well. But I've always liked that. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's great. It gives it like a more raw vibe. It makes it feel more real, which, you know, overproduced stuff can get boring. It starts to all sound the same. you know?
Yeah, I mean, there is some like, I do like Post Malone shit. I do like him. Okay. Even though it is overly produced, I think the reason why I like him, I like his shit because it's like it's catchy and like melodic, and I like that, you know.
Yeah, and he's a creative mind too. I mean, I've seen him like during the quarantine. He did like Nirvana covers and shit with like Travis Barker and like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, he was going all out.
You can tell he's into other types of music like Necro Goblet, whatever.
Goblicon.
Goblicon and stuff like that. He talked about that on Rogan, and I thought that was cool that he like shouted them out.
Those are homies too, man. My buddy Alex plays guitar in that band, and they you know, I've known him for a while from other bands that he was in, and I moved out here to LA, and he opened up a venue out here. There's like
what's up.
A music venue. It was him and his buddy Brett and Travis, all these dudes that got all together, and they were like, let's just get all our money together and open up a venue. And they started hosting shows, and it was going incredible. They were selling out all their shows and having some really big, you know, national talent on. And then the pandemic hits, and I'm like, oh God, I hope they can hold off, you know, and make it past this.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. That's great you brought that up, because it's like I've seen what musicians are doing, like to kind of substitute live performances, like via Zoom,
live streams.
It's not the same. I mean, it's cool. It's cool what they're doing, but it's just like there's a certain thing that same thing with stand-up comics.
I can't do comedy. Well. I can't do Zoom comedy at all. I mean,
imagine telling jokes in your bedroom and like, you know, it's
no reaction.
Like have you seen that movie The King of Comedy with Robert De Niro?
Oh yeah, a long time ago, yeah.
But do you remember that scene where he's performing? He's got that wallpaper of audience members. He's like performing. He's like recording, like preparing to go on that show or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that, where it's like a make believe. Although people are out there, but it's like you don't really kind of feel them out. You can't sense that they are.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever do that when you were a kid? Like I remember being a kid and like pretending to be some kind of pro wrestling like announcer. Like I'd stand there.
Oh yeah, well me and my brother. Oh yeah, me and my brother grew up with like a WWF, like Hillbilly Jim and Coco Beware and Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Nice. And I remember as kids we would do that, but then we'd create like fake like plaques, like, you know, like for the belt. Like on a wooden like 3x, you know, we would cut the wood, but then we'd with a Sharpie and with crayon or colored pencils or whatever, we would write. It was.
So why is it as a kid it's okay, but like when you get old, people start looking at you weird if you're talking to yourself or rehearsing too much? You know what I mean?
Well, I think people still do that, but they just don't admit it. On like, you know, we're in a day and age where you can't hide anything. You know, especially like it's kind of like it really trips me out because I'm a little old school, and like I was around when people, you know, before, you know, obviously cell phones, but if you had a pager, you were like the shit, you know. Like a pager, and like someone would call the pager.
I had a glow-in-the-dark Motorola pager, man. I was the talk of the town.
You're the shit in your school or whatever. I know that.
I remember that.
But it's kind of like it's like the way I look at it is like that movie with Jim Carrey, Truman Show.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like literally is in their own like Truman Show.
Yep.
I mean, I'll give you evidence. Like, look at Insta Live. Mm-hmm. That's a Truman Show. Like, you're like, people are like tuning into you, taking a shit or something, or hey guys, I'm just here, and you know, writing a song, or I'm just taking a walk, you know, whatever. I'm walking my dogs, whatever.
Yeah.
But people are tuning into. It's like this voyeuristic kind of world we're in. And I think people, it's accepted now, but it's like if you take a step back away from that, it's kind of like, dude, it's bizarre.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It blows my mind every day. And you know, I adapted recently. You know, I didn't do video before. This was just an audio podcast, and
for real?
Yeah, and I would even, you know, I'd had a couple Skype calls, and I just wouldn't record the video. I was just like, fuck, it's just audio. But then when the pandemic hit, I'm like, well, the only way I'm going to elevate this, because the plan was to go live. I was going to do live shows. I was going to start doing stuff at the store, actually.
You mean like maybe like do it through like YouTube Live as well? Make it like
Well,
like
yeah,
a
we would
premiere
do
there?
yeah, we would do Twitch streaming kind of situation, but it would be a live show on stage with the guest and a crowd. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
And just talk and then have like a Q&A with whatever the audience members wanted to ask questions to the guest. So that was the plan. And then this hit and I was like, well, now what? And I was like, well, now I'm just going to, I guess we'll do this. You know, this is what everybody's doing, I guess.
You know, I'm curious, like, how do you usually, like, how long have you been doing this?
The show's been running for almost 4.5 years now.
How do you find in research, how do you find your guests? I'm just curious. Like,
well, I do a lot of reaching out personally at this point. Like now, because the show's gotten, you know, somewhat of an audience
it's
now.
got some traction,
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, now I can, some artists, I just hit them up and they'll write back. Well, I mean, like yourself, I hit you up. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to find like some PR person or some like manager I got to talk to.
No, me. I do. That's why I'm so busy. I don't have no one.
Yeah.
I do everything me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same
like,
goes for me. And then, you know, a lot of these podcasts that are out, they have teams of, you know, people looking.
Oh, you don't have to tell me twice.
I don't get the whole team aspect.
You know, I've dealt with all that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, you know, what me and Jeremiah is doing so beautiful is because we're putting in the work and love in just me and him.
Yeah.
Cutting out the middle people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people don't realize what it really takes. Like this is, you know, like we do our own podcast and that's work. Right. But when you're trying to start something new and you got like backdrops and you got to put up the wallpaper and the
editing
the
with
props.
graphics, there's
not
also
only that, like just audio. Like the other night there was humming in one of the chords, like and like, and this is we were preparing an hour before even recording, and like we had to make sure. But then we, you know, everything was set. But then we heard this, and then so Jeremiah's like, okay, we can't record, we can't start, we have to fix this problem before we. You know, record this episode or whatnot, you know, so.
That's because he's got live stage experience. That's what that is. Because.
Oh, yeah. You know what, dude? He was with Kill Tony for a minute there as well.
That experience, it always happens. Like bands do sound checks at every show, but then they start. And it's like, oh, well, one of the mics is still off.
Or amp's fucked up or some shit. Yeah.
So that happens all the time. And, you know, it's that kind of experience is good. It helps people become more creative on the spot. He does a lot of improv as you do.
Yeah.
So, you know,
how do you find, like, as far as like your musical, like, is it like around just around the whole, like different genres of people doing, like you got folk singers, you got metalheads.
Oh, the music for the show? Yeah. I reach out to whoever I like that I enjoy what they're doing. Predominantly, there's a lot of rock people, but that's because that's where I come from. Like I was in a band and I toured, and I met a lot of bands on tour. So that's how the show all started. Me reaching out to all my friends. I'm like, hey, I want to do this. You know, come be a guest. But then as I was able to progress, I was like, all right, I'm going to start reaching out to different genres of music. Start talking to athletes and get like some MMA dudes in here. Talk to some comedians and they're, you know, friends. And but the show started off, it was the RRBG, it means the rock and roll beer guy. So it was just about like metal and beer for a while. That's why it took Jeremiah like 3 years to be like, okay, I'll do it. Because I changed
so when
it.
you say metal, are that like, are you like you like Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath, Judas Priest and shit like that?
Oh, I go heavier than that.
Oh, okay, you go heavy. Okay, because I know there's subgenres of that. Okay,
yeah. I enjoy all that stuff too. But I also I'm an extreme person. So when I listen to hip hop, I go deep. You know, like I recently found Clipping from LA and they're incredible.
Yeah.
And then when I go to metal, I go as deep as I can. If I go listen to jazz, I want to like Chick Corea fusion. You know, like I want to. I want to see what's the craziest you've got. And
have you heard of this band called Brain Bombs?
Brain Bombs sounds familiar, but I don't know if
Dude, you should look them up. I used to work at Amoeba, and this homie Sandor was in I'm guessing the same kind of music you might be into, but he handed me the CD one day. Dude, it is cryptic, bro.
Yeah.
It's this one Swedish dude, but he talks about like waiting around the train tracks to get you, and it's crazy. Yeah, so look them up. Yeah, it's cryptic. Yeah, it's called Brain Bombs.
Brain Bombs. Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah, but that was another cool thing about, because I did work at a record store, so there's like, you know, like
you worked at the record store.
Yeah, at the record store. I mean, I fucked that off. I mean, I took my job for granted, but I eventually got fired. But you know, there's some cool, like, you know, like Fishbone came through. You know, I've always loved Fishbone, but like you know, Queens of the Stone Age. You know, like, you know, like there's certain like bands where I was like literally like I got to see a free show because I was a cashier. I was just, oh, I get a free, you know. I remember like I saw Henry Rollins like buy something. I rang up Beck. I was stuttering like a motherfucker. I'm a Beck fan. I like Beck. But I rang him up. I rang up Kool Keith.
Did you punish him in any way? Did you give him like when you gave him his bag where you're like, I'm a loser, baby?
No. I didn't do any of that. I was like maybe like stuttering. He was with, I think he's married to like Giovanni Ribisi's sister. Like the wife was there too, I think. Okay. And so I was like, I was just polite, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it takes a lot to be able to gather yourself for when you meet an artist that you really enjoy. I mean, have you fanboyed like that on anybody?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So I was working. I was a cashier, but then they transferred me over to the warehouse where I was a jewel casing switcher. Where you know, I'll describe the job description. It was, you know, old CDs would come in, and I would take the new jewel case and swap them out. So I had my little workstation with my Walkman or whatever, like a CD player, I meant, like, you know, and so I would just sit there like, you know, sweatshop style, you know,
just jamming it out, making
jamming it out. And then I was working one night. It was at night, and then one of my coworkers tapped me on the shoulder, and I went like this, and I go, what? And they're like, Dr. Dre is here.
Oh shit.
And I go, no, he's not.
No.
Quit fucking around. He goes, dude, he's right in the next room. I go, what? And so so I'm in the jewel casing room. There's a door that leads to the bigger warehouse area where Dre was.
Okay.
I just kind of like squeaked open. I peeked and I looked, and there he was. He was sitting there all by himself. Going through vinyl.
Nice.
And so
did you go say hi?
No, I'm gonna get to that, man. I'm gonna get to it. I did something. I'm gonna get to it. And so I go, in my mind, in my delusional mind, I'm like, you have to seize the opportunity, Steve. So there's another way down to the main store area, which is you know, there's a side stairs near the dumbwaiter. I'm like, I ran down and I bought a own copy of my own album that I had just put out. I only pressed up like 200 copies of an album that I did called Dojo Dynamics, which is not out. That's not even on my Bandcamp. That's how old it is. It's there's like, it's a full length, you know, I pressed up like 250 whatever copies, but I bought my own copy off the floor of Amoeba, ran back up there, and I walked up to Dre and I handed him the CD, bro.
Oh boy.
And I remember I was so nervous. I don't know what he said. He was cool, but he's like, oh, thanks, word.
Did you get words out before handing him the CD, or was it CD first?
I was stuttering like a motherfucker. But he did say, but back then, this is before like I had an Instagram or a website. Yeah. But he asked if my contact was in there, and I'm like, yeah. There's the emails on the back of the juke, you know, I added that. It was a Hotmail back then, but I had a Hotmail back then, and I had it on the art, whatever, the back of the art of the, you know, but dude, I'm not trying to stir anything up, but I was doing shit like my 4-track back then on that particular album. This was like, fuck, man, early 2000. Oof, and on my 4-track, there was a effect where it made me sound like that. It made me sound like, you know, like
voice
deeper,
changer?
deeper.
Yeah.
But then I'm not saying nothing, but I remember, I'm not saying he bid or anyone bid, but you know, it's ironic that, because I did that back in the day.
Okay.
But later, who else did that? Tyler, the Creator, did that on his Goblin. Not only that particular effect Slim Shady, Eminem did that on one, like his certain songs where they added that effect, that deeper voice.
Right.
I'm not, but the thing, but it makes you think, right? Because I gave Dre. I'm not saying he gave it to anybody or nothing
your
happened.
Shit. No, I'm just kidding. He stole your shit and gave it to all his boys. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, that's nuts, man. That's a crazy coincidence. Could it be
in these realms of possibilities?
Definitely. 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So
I've lost plenty of songs that I sent to someone that like I was like, oh hey, let me know what you think, and then I hear it on the radio, like not the exact it's not my song, it's my music re-recorded by someone else.
And I'm not doubting that, but the thing is, I gave it to Dr. Dre, who works with Eminem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he took it. He took it, and he's like, yo, check out what this kid's doing, bro. This is going to work, I promise.
I don't know, but I don't know how many demos he's gotten, but
yeah.
I was at Amoeba, and I did, you know what I mean? It was shrink wrapped and everything. It wasn't like a CDR.
Right. That's the key. That's the key. A lot of bands.
It wasn't a CDR, dude. No, it was like, it was shrink wrapped. It had professional graphic design on it, My ex-girl at the time did it on her computer. You know what I'm saying?
He probably had his legal team look up if you had copyright on that, and then just took it.
Yeah. But think about it. And then let's transfer this over to the comedy world.
Yeah.
Because this happens in the comedy world, An open micer or like a no-name might be a brilliant writer and might hit up an open mic, and a predominant comedian might see that bit. And you don't think they'll just gank that?
Oh yeah. And then they add their flavor on top or whatever it is, and that's
theirs. At that point, it's theirs. They'll just change. If it's the jokes about a rhinoceros, it's about a hippo.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'll just change the animal. Whatever. They'll change one.
Hey, Led Zeppelin did it. Stairway to Heaven belongs to a band called Taurus.
Really?
Look it up. Google, YouTube, Taurus.
No, I believe you. I know you're a historian as far as music and shit.
It's the same song. And they were on tour with Zeppelin at the time. So they would open up the show every night on tour. And then eventually, like, they disappeared, stopped making stuff, and then boom, Stairway to Heaven. Same exact song.
Not only that, I'm sure that's happened. There's
tons of times.
So many stories, I mean, of musicians that didn't make it, and like, the Beach Boys stole their shit or something.
Yeah. And you'll probably have some diehards hit me up on the YouTube comments now with like, oh, that was fake. Okay, whatever. Google Taurus and Stairway to Heaven, and you'll hear it for yourself.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be an interesting story to share, because it's like, it's not like every day you meet a Dr. Dre or something.
That's amazing.
Like that.
No, that's an incredible.
And
it's funny that it's linked to a possible, like that, like you said, this whole scenario.
It could have been, like as far as quantum physics, like the realm of possibilities. There's a possibility. That's all I'm saying. So but the thing is, dude, I like both of them. I like their shit. I like Tyler. I love Eminem. I love their shit. So like, if anyone were to, take an effect, I mean, rightfully so. I can't get mad at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What can you do? I mean, there's really not much unless you, like that's a lesson I learned later in life. When I create something now, I copyright it, or I do the poor man's copyright. Or I email myself.
Half the time I was high and fucking, you know what I mean? I was high off my ass and just barely making it to my shift. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. And so, but now moving forward, I mean, I think that's something, I assume you want to keep making music, right?
Yeah. The way, I'm glad you brought that up. The way I look at it, I'm in like kind of this transitional, I mean, I'll never quit recording and writing music, but, and it's just ironic how I've been doing it for so long. I mean, we're talking about like mid to late 90s I started, and now finally, like, I'm in my 40s now. People are like, there's pockets of people taking notice, and so I'm appreciative, and I know that had a lot to do with Mongchi and Dave Choe and the band, because at the time I had recorded my last solo EP called Duraflame Pencil. It was a concept album, and I was going to put it up on iTunes or whatever through CD Baby or whatever, and say that's it. And then it was symbolic because Duraflame, it's the wood that you burn, and then pencil, and then I'm burning. I'm no longer writing. I'm done with this.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was. I mean, I was paying homage to that. Taking two ideas, combining them, like. pencil of the wood, Duraflame, burning of it. It's symbolic of like burning of your writing utensil, whatever, or what you use to write and do music with. So I was working at Fat Sal's, man, like, you know, in the area. And I was like, and thank God my brother, just on a whim, we were like going to Korean barbecue, and he received a text message, and it was he's like, oh dude, I forgot I had this thing. Can we turn around? I got to do this podcast. At the time, I didn't even know what the fuck a podcast was. Like, I was hungry. I'm like, dude, what are we going to get? Kimchi chicken. What's up? And he was like, just come with me, dude. It'll take 30, dude, it'll be fast. And it happened to be DVD ASA, which was David Choe and Asa Akira's podcast.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And I just happened to show up because, you know, we're rolling to K-Town, but then he had to turn around because he forgot he had to show up to this thing. So I showed up, and I'm just, and then like through that was the first time I got put on a podcast. I remember I didn't even know, like before we're doing this now, like I'm like, what is this? And so I just showed respect. You know, Dave, I was a fan of his art, and I'm like, oh, I just want to meet you. You know, and I took the chair and I put it near the bathroom. I was just going to let them do their shit, you know?
Yeah.
But that, I mean, I guess a quarter of the way through or halfway through, he said, hey, bring your brother over here. And so that's, you know, and then through that, all these other things just happened. Like I met Money Mark from the Beastie Boys there. I met Asa Akira. I met Poon. I met Critter. I just met all these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then through that, by like episode God knows what, one time while we're podcasting, Dave just turns to us and says, hey, you guys would you be open to record music?
Nice.
And so I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so, dude, like he actually rented out like this huge, I would call it a resort, kind of like, but like kind of log cabin, like cabins.
Okay.
Like this place, this kind of like isolated. It reminded me of like summer camp.
Was it in like Joshua Tree?
No, it was in Big Bear.
In Big Bear, okay.
It was in Big Bear, and then Money Mark brought his laptop and his SP1200 and one keyboard, and that's where we recorded. Let me grab the album. Hold on.
Do it. Go for it.
I'm gonna hold it up. So that's where we recorded this album.
Nice. That looks great. Good artwork.
Yeah, Dave did all this. I mean, he's a master. I mean, dude, he's like Yoda. He's like Yoda with a
paintbrush,
with the art supplies.
With the art supplies.
But anyway, so we recorded this, and a funny story about this. Like while we were recording this album, and then they gave me a pep talk before, because you know they knew I was this underground hip hop fan guy who like loved the Beastie Boys and the Far Side and Boogie Monsters and Cypress Hill, blah blah blah. But they were saying Tribe Called Quest, but they were like Steve, you know, we know you like doing this style of writing, but you have to be open to we want to do all kinds of different shit. So like this album is literally like. It's just like a variety of different genres, I guess. You know,
freedom of art, man.
Yeah, there's you know punk shit, cowboy shit. There's 80s shit. There's whatever. It's on here.
That's awesome.
And so I remember like second or third day, it was me, Dave, and Money Mark, and we hadn't recorded anything yet. And they keep in mind, I forgot this part. During all this, Dave said, hey, if you want to record a solo album, you can.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And so I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, just, you know, I'll put it, you know. So I'm like, I finished my solo like I was literally like, that was like life-changing. Like I would get off my shift like at Fat Sal's, like at 4 a.m. and just stay up at odd hours, like making beats and writing.
Nice.
Every fucking night. I was just like, can I grab that too?
Yeah.
I'm going to grab that real quick because the art's awesome too.
Yeah. That's the best way to do it too. Best way to do it is practice every night.
So this is my solo. Dave did the art too.
Incredible. Yes. Awesome.
And this is on my Bandcamp, SteeBee WeeBee Bandcamp.com.
Yeah, I've seen
but
that,
if you want to, I still have a few vinyl left. This is like one. I mean, this is like I have 2 boxes left of this.
Okay.
And this is going to be, I'm guessing, not because of my music. Obviously, I did it on a 4-track and with my SP303, but the art because of Dave.
For sure. No, I definitely want to.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, so basically, hold up. I forgot my train of thought. I just want to finish my story. My story. Okay, so I had finished this album before it was vinyl, obviously. But there's a song that was supposed to be on this album called Gook Boy. And it was about what inspired me to write it was because of Cho Sung-wi, or people like this cat who was he was an incel before the terminology was even out, like a lonely Asian guy on a college campus, outcast, rejected by everyone around him. Girls didn't like him. He had a it was in a dark place in his life. He ended up killing people. You know what I'm saying? Oof. And so I was inspired because I was like, dude, like, what about if I write a song in it, like the narrative of me being a person like that, like an Asian guy on some campus with like zits and like glasses and just the outcast, and like how I felt, like just expressing how I felt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
kind of like a storytelling song about a person like that.
Okay.
And so I had played them. They're like, hey, dude, because this is back. Now we're in Big Bear. This is back to Big Bear. It was like during the daytime. We haven't recorded. It's Money Mark and Dave. They're like, bring your laptop out. Let's hear some of your solo shit. Aren't you done with your album? So I played them a couple songs, maybe 2 or 3. But then one of the songs was Gook Boy, which was supposed to be for my solo album, but I knew the wheels started turning in Mark's head because he told me to play it again, and then he started playing, like he started making like some new shit, and they're like, hey, and they basically said, hey, can we just take this? I think that's the first song we actually recorded in Big Bear. Nice. Okay. So that song initially was supposed to be for my solo 4-track project or whatever, but I ended up like kind of like just letting Manchi have it. Did they keep any of your like vocals or anything? Yeah, they kept it. I rearranged certain words, but then I remember I added a 3rd verse where it turns more positive. Okay. Where like there's no resolution, like with my song, it was just ended dark, like this guy was just pissed off in his dorm room or whatever. But the 3rd verse, he like does positive steps to like make it like to be more like going the other way, like, you know what I mean? Gotcha. Yeah. Like having more of a positive outlook or something. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it was inspired by the positive things that were happening at that moment in time, because that doesn't happen to just anyone, like those are those moments where you have to take a step back and breathe, like what is happening, like now I'm recording a solo album out here. And then I'm working with David Choe and Money Mark from the BC. I mean, that tripped me out even more. Yeah. Because I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan. I mean, Paul's Boutique it's up there with one of my favorites of all time as well. Their first 3 or 4 albums. Let's not get that twisted. But just for the fact that, shout out to Money Mark as well, because like he deserves way more credit than that's out there. Sure. Like, like the Beastie Boys, they released their book. They're like huge. They released a book or, and there's only like 1 paragraph on Mark. It's like, dude, really? Like Mark's the one that like brought all the equipment, all the live instruments to your guys' space for y'all to record this album. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's fucked up. People don't know that shit. Like he's a major part of the Beastie Boys. Major. It's sad when shit like that happens, man. I see it all the time in the music industry. I see people putting in work with bands, and then like he's a good dude too. He's like one of those guys, like he doesn't ask for anything, he just wants to be a part of it. He's a good dude, you know what I mean? Yeah. So shout out to Mark. He's been like a mentor. A mentor? Nice. Yeah, for sure. A mentor of mine. So he actually told me we our last show, I'm sorry, I didn't think it'd last this long. I have so many stories. Well, yeah. Damn, I didn't even realize the time. No, keep going. No, it's all good. But I love talking about this stuff because it revolves around music. Yeah. I normally can't do this or don't do this. It's usually, so when is your comedy special coming out? What's your Instagram again? Let's shout out your merch again. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't
Plug your socials. Plug your socials.
Yeah. But we had done one of our last shows. Steve Aoki had brought the band to do a show during New York Fashion Week for his new clothing brand, Dimmock, at the time.
Okay, that's huge.
And so, it was huge. You know, it was like, it's on Devil Wears Prada type shit. You know what I mean? Where, and we're performing on like there's like skateboarding ramps, and there's like pros and amateur skaters, and we're like, it was the weirdest show. Like they were literally not paying attention.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway. At the end of that whole trip from New York, on the plane ride back from JFK to LAX, like it had dawned on me because I had received an email from Dave's management or whatever saying that this is it, we're done with the band. Thanks for your contribution, but Dave's going to focus on other things in his life. Rightfully so, it's his decision.
Sure, yeah.
Because he's the man. He was the man behind all of this. But I almost had a panic attack on the plane. But then I'm like, my mind was racing. I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And then another shout to Money Mark, because he always kind of like warned me, like, Steve, you got to have a plan B. See, what are you gonna do if Monchi? Because how it is with music, especially with bands. You could break up within a week. You could last 10 years. You could last 20 years. But you could break up in 6 months. Things happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like thinking, the wheels were turning, and I'm like, oh shit, I should just start a podcast. And so that's like before all this shit, like that's where I got on the plane, I turned to Money Mark, and I'm like, hey, Money, if I was thinking about starting a podcast, will you be like one of my first guests? And he goes, yeah.
That's awesome.
So and then that's how that started, and now. This is basically a part of my whole landscape now of what I do, And,
yeah, you can't.
And trust me, I can't stop it. But the thing is, I appreciate every moment, and I'm sure you do too, because I've worked shitty jobs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll do part 2 on just all my shitty jobs throughout my life.
I'm down, man.
Circle K, IHOP, PF Chang's, Sushi Dan's. I could go on, brother.
A lot of service
Fat
industry.
Sal's.
A lot of service industry.
Lot of me as a bar back sweating.
That's hard work, and that makes you such a hard worker for what you're doing. I'll put it this way. I was up until 6 a.m. editing a Warzone video, and I was delighted at the fact that I was doing that. Well, before we go,
I was doing the thumbnail and shit. I was like getting the colorization right. I love it.
Yeah. I was going to say like that.
And I'm sure you love it too.
I do. I sometimes want a little bit of help because I do. But I still never trust anyone to do it. Like I have friends like get on Fiverr and pay some dude $5 to do it. I'm like, no, because they're going to do it their way and they're going to fuck it up. I have to do it my way, right? I'm sure you have that feeling. Yeah, but with
certain things, I understand what you're saying. Like we come from the same whatever.
Cut from the same cloth.
Cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
But there's certain things like as far as like I can't do like animation or graphic design.
Right. Yeah.
That's why going back to the Scissor Bros, we are like investing right at least at the beginning now because we need these things in place. For I hate saying this, but for branding.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it, man.
But you know what I'm saying as far as to get that right.
Yeah.
So we got. It's kind of like this. The way I look at it, and I'm sure you could relate. It's like with anything. It's like we're watering a plant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're planting a tree. We just have to keep watering it.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah, and you got yourself busy, man. You got the Scissor Bros podcast. You're still doing music.
Oh my god!
You're doing the Call of Duty thing more often, which I love because I'm a gamer. My wife's a gamer.
That's just hey, might as well be recording if we're playing every night anyway.
Yeah, and usually that to me is one of the biggest attractions to Warzone is how much I laugh when I'm playing because I'm playing good and I'm focused and I'm getting kills and all that. But in the meantime, I'm bantering with random people that I just met or some friends. I'll hop in and out. And it's always hilarious. And I'm like, man, that makes sense.
There's so many funny scenarios. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's, I could talk to you an hour about just dissecting Warzone as well. We'll do more. All right. Yeah, like it's as long as you're with your homies having fun. That's it.
Right. That's what matters.
Because there are some despicable human beings that play that.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
When you're loading into like multiplayer,
yeah,
some of the shit coming out of these people's mouths is like, dude, are you a part of a hate group?
Yes.
Like, what is going on with you, kid?
Yes, they are.
Like, what is your problem?
Usually when I see the clan tag Trump, I back out of the menu. I'm like, all right, let's try another lobby.
Oh, no, I don't even have to look at the tagger name. It's the stuff spewing out of their mouths. Like,
well, yeah.
Are you about to burn down someone's house?
Yeah,
or what are you about to do?
Man. It's nuts.
But, yeah, man, I appreciate your, like, thanks for asking me. Can I plug some?
Do it. Plug away, sir.
All right. So, I do have, let me get the music out of the way. Okay. So I have the newest music video, which I shot on my iPhone, by the way, just one morning I woke up.
Nice.
And then Lil Ray's in it. It's called Oh Rodeo Man. And that's at youtube.com/SteeBee WeeBee. The full length album, everyone, I don't have it on Spotify yet. I'm going to go through DistroKid maybe in a month and do all that shit. But you could only get it at SteeBeeWeeBeeBandcamp.com. Definitely support that. I did all the production on that. Shout out to Dylan, the kid, and Eddie Kim for helping me with one of the tracks. How do you go? But yeah, all of my projects, and I'm gonna add more. I do have stuff on that I haven't even added on there, but it's at SteeBeeWeeBeeBandcamp.com.
Yeah, the link will be down there, and
you'll do that.
I'll add the link to you. Yeah.
That's what's up. You know what? I'm gonna text you all that after we're done here. I do have a Patreon as well. Patreon.com/SteeBee WeeBee if you want to help with my platform and my content. Check that out. SteeBeeWeeBeeShow.com. SteeBeeWeeBeeShow.com is my website where the merch is. Just know the orders will be a little delayed because of COVID. Instagram /QUANGOU, Quangou. That's my Instagram. And you know what? I think that's good. I don't want to plug too much more. I think I think that's the meat and potatoes.
Is Quangou your birth name?
Quangou. Yeah, that's my I have it on my wrist right there.
Okay.
It's my Korean name.
Your Korean
name. I thought I'd keep it, might as well, and that's another reason. It's like, I'm not going to blow up internationally with a name like that. I'd have a better chance with changing it to SteeBee WeeBee, but I don't, because of copyright purposes. There's another Steve Weeb on this Donkey Kong documentary. I don't want to get mixed up with him because I'm a fan of his. So that's why, know.
Respect.
That's respect to Steve Weeb.
Right.
But do you think are you happy with what we got?
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, and like you said, I feel like we can do a few of these. I think like between music and your video gaming and the podcast and comedy,
there's a lot to talk. I could talk your ear off.
I wanted to talk to you about MMA, and because I know you like MMA.
I could talk to you 2 hours about that, my friend.
Yeah, so we'll definitely do another one, man. We'll be in touch.
Pick your poison. I got you. I mean, I could talk. I mean, there's so much. I mean, I could. Look, it's been past an hour, huh? Or at least an hour?
Yeah, it's been about 50 minutes, 52 minutes.
And it flew by.
It flew by. I had no idea that it had happened. I'll tell you that. I thought we were at like the 20-minute mark. I was like, I have notes here for MMA. And like, oh, nope.
Oh, dude, I'm huge. Dude, I still have Pride DVDs from back in the day.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fan.
Yeah, you're
shout out to the Diaz brothers. I love the Diaz brothers. Stockton. All that. Whoop. Oh yeah, Stockton represent. When is this going to air? Because I'll plug it on my Instagram and
I'll hit you up and I'll let you know. I got a couple in the queue, but I'll hit you up and let you know. Probably a couple weeks, but
I like how you did. Like how are you doing your thumbnails and like on your Instagrams? I like how you're. Are you doing your own graphics? I like how you did your latest one.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I do all.
Like, how are you doing that?
Photoshop.
Like the Karina.
Karina Round.
Yeah,
I do all that. I do all that on Photoshop, man.
But I like the aesthetic that you're using. I didn't mean to toot your horn too much, but I like what you're doing.
Thanks,
there.
man. I appreciate it. Yeah, like
can you do mine? Can you do mine like this one as well?
I will. Yeah, for sure. I will definitely do that.
I just like the way it looks like.
Professional.
I don't know. It looks like professional and like vintage at the same time.
I appreciate that, man. Because like a lot, like you because you do it yourself. But a lot of people don't know how much work goes into this. They're like, oh, you're having fun. You're just talking to celebrities. It's like, yeah, but...
She goes by Pussifer?
Pussifer is actually the group that she is in. She sings with Maynard from Tool. And that's his solo project. Pussifer is Maynard James Keenan's solo project, and she's like she sings, she does duets with him in the album. It's incredible stuff. You should check it out. Yeah,
dude, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, they're doing a live stream this weekend where they perform inside of a wrestling ring.
What, Trent Reznor?
No, not Trent Reznor. Maynard from Tool.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Trent Reznor. Okay.
No, yeah. Trent is yeah.
I was thinking 9 Inch Nails. Sorry, dude. My mind's spinning.
No, yeah, it's cool.
Maynard from Tool. I thought you said. I don't know why I went to 9 Inch Nails. Oh, sorry,
they've worked together. That's why, because Trent and Maynard have worked together. Yeah.
There you go, dude. Well, I appreciate. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. And then when this drops, I'll
hit you
up. I'll definitely plug it on my Insta or whatever.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we'll be in touch, dude. Like I said, we'll probably do another one to talk about other stuff.
I'm following you, right? Yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I appreciate that because, like, guys, if you're listening and watching this, I've recently in the last maybe 2.5 years, I've become a fan of you. Watching your show, listening to the music. I love the new Scissor Bros. I texted Jeremiah today. I'm like, dude, it's great. Keep it going. So I like everything you're doing.
We got to get you on my podcast. I'll holler at you in the future. Yeah, we got to get you on mine as well. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be cool. I'd be down.
Yeah. So thanks for your time. I'm gonna make dinner now. Like you ate already. I know you ate.
Dinner.
It's cheeseburger time for me.
Hell yeah.
Okay, brother.
Hey,
I appreciate
man.
you.
Stay safe.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate
brother.
you too, brother. Take care.
All right, Mike. Peace.